I was hoping to get the second volume for Christmas, but Father said it wouldn't be out. But he gave me $1.50 so I can buy it today.
Look, the bookstore.
Oh, dear, ma'am, is that the book?
The second volume.
We just love the first. We shall die if we can't get the second.
Indeed it is. You loved the first one very well, didn't you?
Oh, yes, it is our most favorite novel ever, and I shall cherish my copy till the day I die.
That's quite a long time to cherish a thing.
Yet it is true just the same, and I shall.
Jo's my favorite, Mark's sister. I think I like Meg best. She is so very elegant.
Amy is so forgotten, though.
Look, man, we'll prove our devotion. I got the first copy of the book right here.
I do believe you, though, truly.
Well, we shall prove it did the same. We've been practicing, just like the sisters in their play. Christmas won't be. Wait, we need to force my sister. Be Beth, would you please?
I suppose I can.
Great, then you stand right here. Now, Christmas won't be Christmas without any presents. So dreadful to be poor.
We've got father and mother and each other.
We haven't got father and shall not have him for quite a long time.
And perhaps we never shall.
You will all know the reason Marmee proposed not having any presents this Christmas was because it's going to be a hard winter for everyone, and we ought not to spend money for pleasure when our men are suffering so in the army. We can't do much, but we can make our little sacrifices and ought to do it gladly. But I'm afraid I don't.
I just don't think the little we should spend would do much good. We've each got $1, and the army wouldn't be much help by our giving that. I agree not to expect anything from you, Meg, or from Marmee, but I do want to buy Pilgrim's Progress for myself. I've wanted it so long.
I plan to spend mine on new music.
Marmee didn't say anything about our money, and she wouldn't wish us to give away everything. Why don't we each buy what we want and have a little fun?
I shall get a box of new Faber's pencils. I really need them.
I'm sure we've all worked hard enough to earn it.
I know I do, teaching those tiresome children nearly all day when I'm longing to enjoy myself at home.
I bet I can beat you. How would you like to be shut up all day? Fussy old lady who keeps you running on your feet is never satisfied and makes you angry until you're ready to fly out a window or cry. Aunt March is insufferable.
I don't believe any of you suffer as I do. You don't have to go to school with impermanent girls who plague you if you don't know your lessons and laugh at your dresses and make fun of your father if he isn't rich and make fun of your nose if it isn't nice.
Oh, Amy, even with your nose as ghastly as it is, we still are us, and we have each other, and that is quite something to smile about.
How dare you? You're the one who dropped me when I was a baby and horribly mangled me. My nose is your fault, and please don't do that. It's so boyish. Please try to be ladylike.
I shall never.
Can we please try and get along just for a moment?
Your Christmas breakfast is ready. We shall wait for your mother.
Where is Marmee?
How much longer might she be?
Goodness only knows. Some poor creature came begging, and your ma went straight out to see what was needed. There never was such a woman for giving up her house and home for those less fortunate.
I'm unusually hungry. I've waited nearly an hour.
Merry Christmas, girls!
Marmee!
Girls, I want to say one word before we sit down to our breakfast. You see, not far from here lies a poor woman with a brand new little baby. 6 children are huddled into one bed to keep from freezing, for they have no fire, as they lost their father in the war a few months back. My girls, will you give them your breakfast as a Christmas present?
I'm so glad you came before we began.
May I go and help carry things to the poor little children?
I shall take the cream and muffins.
Even the muffins? But dearie, those are your favorite.
That may be so, but Mommy has inspired me.
That's right. Marmee has taught us, such as in the Book of Mark, to love our neighbor better than ourselves, and I quite like it.
to school today? Beth never has to anymore. Can't I be like Beth?
Beth is much too bashful for school.
You know she suffers immense anxieties. She gave it her best shot, but it troubled her spirits, so it's better for her to stay here and study with Father. Well, Marmy now, I suppose.
Well, we can't all be prefect.
And such a housewifely little creature. I need her here with me to help keep this home neat and comfortable.
And you do well to be like my Beth, never looking for any reward except to be loved.
Well, we can't all be so prefect.
I think you mean perfect.
So what if I do?
Quiet down, girls. Your perfect little Beth, as you say, has a mighty good headache. Although Beth is not perfect, as none of us are. Each is a sinner, as only Jesus himself was perfect on earth. But each of you are perfect little women to me.
Cuddle your cats and get over your headache, Bethy. We're a set of rascals this morning, but we'll come back regular angels. Bye, Mommy.
Don't forget your lunch, dear Amy.
It was fine while it lasted, but Father gave it nobly. I suppose he'd do it all over again. He tried to help too many unfortunate friends. No one could have known the war would come and make everything so hard.
It's why I found such a handsome nanny job with a handsome salary. It's not much, but I feel rich in my own small way.
And she needs to since she's so fond of luxury.
Poverty is my chief trouble, although I never tell Marmy the truth of it. I do so long for pretty things, and dainty ball dresses, and lavish trifles, and a happy life.
I would live a happy life, only my nose were less ugly. And I didn't have to wear cousin Floris's clothes. Her mother's taste is so poor, and I suffer so deeply when I look unbecoming.
Oh, your clothes aren't half that bad, Amy. Besides, you're a sweet, pretty little thing, and nothing could change that, even if you wore the oldest brown gunny sack in all of Concord as a frock.
I'd be even pretty if you hadn't dropped me on my nose when I was a baby Joe.
Your nose is just perfect, and you wouldn't be Amy without it. Plus, you're so accomplished with your art and French speaking and manners. When you're of age, you'll be sure to snatch up a great rich man just like me.
You really think so?
Listen to you two. Do you only ever talk of marriage? Mark my words, I'll never be married. I will make my own way, and I'll spoil you both, and you'll regret marrying stuffy old hats for what they could give you because I will give it to you instead. Any luxury you could possibly want.
And here's where I must leave you, as I must go to school, though I wish to not.
You'll be all right. Good luck. I should be off to the Johnsons, too. And you to Aunt March. You suit her so well.
Oh, really? Let's switch places for a day, and I'm sure you would be equally as suited to her as me.
Well, you're uniquely suited. She's lame and old and needs an active person to wait on her. And you're the only one who gets on so well with her.
She hates me.
Not true. Marmy says she loves your comical face and blunt manners. Now off you go.
Fine, but my face isn't comical. It's boyish.
Ugh.
Simon, I told you 1,000 times it's Joe.
Miss March, your Aunt March is waiting in the morning. It's about time for afternoon reading.
Oh, lovely.
May I introduce you our new husband, Estelle.
Good afternoon, Miss Josephine.
It's just Joe, but Josephine sounds much prettier from you than Aunt March.
Yes, of course, Joe.
Josephine, where's my tea?
Have it, Aunt March.
Auntie. I'm so very sorry if my needs that I pay you to aid, by the way, are an inconvenience to you. You marchers are all very ungrateful. Ever since your father has his financial mistakes paying for beggars and unfortunates, I offered to adopt one of you girls, you know, and you haven't the slightest idea of what your father said to me.
He said that...
He said, we can't give up our girls for a dozen fortunes, rich or poor. We'll stick together and be happy in one another. Imagine that. Poor people being happy.
Imagine that.
I shall have no sass from you in my own home.
I'm sorry, Aunt March. I do try so hard.
Well, try harder. If you truly want to be my companion in Europe, you must mind your manners and be a true lady.
I hate being a lady.
I heard that. What a dreadful thing to say.
Well, it's true. Boys can be their own people, and girls are only as important as their relationship to the boy.
To be a wife or a mother or even a sister is a great thing.
But you were such a lucky one. Uncle March was such a good, dear man.
He might have been, but my life hasn't been without its hardships, you know.
Madam, is it not time to read your book?
Quite right. Josephine, take me to the library and we shall start on chapter 4.
Thank you.
Get the curls right, Joe. I want my hair to be as extravagant as the other girls.
I can't make any promises.
You don't need to look like all the other girls, Meg. You're already so beautiful.
Joe, your hair. You look so much better.
Meg will have her hair the way she likes, and so will I.
What's that smell? It smells like burnt feathers. Meg, your hair, it's burning.
What? Take it out, Joe, quick!
Oh no. Oh no.
Josephine March!
It's fine. Joe, get it.
My hair! It's
No,
spoiled!
it's okay.
I'll never be able to go to the ball now!
I can go instead.
No, Amy, you're too young to be going. Meg and I will still go. We can cover up your hair.
But your dress is scorched. You'll still have to come with me. Just try to stay still so no one will notice.
Jo gets to go to the ball even though she's not going to dance. That isn't fair. I should be able to go to the ball and stay with Jo.
I'm not gonna watch you, Amy. Besides, you're too young and immature to be going.
Immature? I'm not immature.
You're just proving my points. Come on, Meg.
Thank you, Beth.
You're welcome.
I'll make you pay, Jo March. Just you wait.
how I simply love events like these. They're so romantic, don't you think?
No, I think they're stupid, and I'm glad I scorched my dress, so I'm not obligated to dance around frivolously.
Joe, don't be like that. You never know, you may meet the love.
Meg, do not finish that sentence. I know what you're going to say, and I don't want to hear it. I shall never marry. I want to make my own way. I don't want to be taken care of. I want to take care of myself. Just because I'm a girl doesn't mean I can't be independent. And I'm not shaming you for wanting... Oh, Meg. I'm sorry. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry. Excuse me, sorry.
Who are we hiding from? No.
I'm sorry, I didn't know anyone was in here.
You can stay if you'd like, that is. You were in the March Girls, yes? Josephine, was it?
Just call me Joe, and you're Theodore Lawrence.
Call me Lori. Why aren't you dancing?
Well, I scorched my dress. I'm here with my sister Meg, and she's forbidden me from dancing because of it. She's good, and I love her truly, as I do the rest of my family. But sometimes I wish I were with my father.
And where's he?
The war. He volunteered for the Union Army. I wanted to fight with him. I can't help but be disappointed with the little a girl is able to do, the difference a girl can make.
She hurt her foot while she was dancing.
Who are you?
Brooke, John Brooke. Pleasure meeting you.
Oh, we should go home. Mommy won't.
Are we ever meant to get home? I can't walk.
I have a carriage you could borrow.
Would you? We don't want to inconvenience you.
No.
I don't mind.
Okay.
Truly.
Are you sure? Come on, Meg.
conversation, and worse like here, with no fun.
They won't be gone forever, Amy. And when they return, we can all have fun together.
I'll never have fun with Jo again. She was so cruel to me.
What a dreadful thing to say about your sister.
How can I have fun with her again when she was so bad? All I did was ask to go to the ball, and she yelled at me and called me names, and all I did was try to give her advice on how she'd be more ladylike, and she was so awful to me.
She wasn't truly mad, Amy. You'll see when she returns home.
Oh, Beth, but she is. She hates me and treats me like a baby constantly. I told her I'd make her pay for not letting me go to the ball, and You know, Marmee, I'm getting kind of tired. I think I'll go to bed early.
Good night, Amy.
We have a wounded soldier.
What happened to you two girls?
I hurt my ankle.
Oh, go fetch some ice.
Mr. Lawrence, Mr. Brooks, welcome. I'm so sorry for all the chaos. But you can call me Mother or Marmee. Everyone does at least.
And I'm Amy.
Hello, Amy. I'm Lori. Do you guys need anything else?
No, but thank you. You're both welcome to our home anytime.
Back to Latin.
Must we all? What good is Latin in the business world? That's all I have to do anyways.
I can't begin to understand all the reasons Mr. Lawrence has, but being a well-rounded and educated man can't hurt in business relations.
Brooke, what do you think of those girls next door?
The girls? What about them?
You know, Meg and Joe, and the quiet one and the little girl.
Oh. I suppose I find Meg charming. What is it to you?
I think they would make fine company. We should have them over at once.
Sir, shouldn't you ask your grandfather before going and inviting people over?
Too late. I've already done it. Joe should be here any second.
Joe?
Joe.
Christopher Columbus. It's Joe.
Thank you, Simon.
Look at this piano. It's beautiful. My Beth would love such a grand thing.
Beth. Isn't she the one that only comes out of the house other than to water her flowers and to catch her kittens?
That's her. She's such a dear. You should come visit them, my sisters. Miss...
Brooke. John
Brooke.
Brooke.
John Brooke. Nice to see you again. Look at all this glorious art. Amy would love it. Can I bring her sometime? Would you mind?
a grandfather? I know now I shouldn't be afraid of him. He's got kind eyes, though his mouth is grim, and looks as though he has a tremendous will. He's not as handsome as my grandfather, but I think I like him.
Not as handsome, eh?
No, sir, much better looking in real life.
And my mouth is grim.
Not at all, sir.
And I've got a tremendous will.
How should I know?
But I've got kind eyes, and you're not afraid of me.
I didn't need very kind eyes.
You got your grandfather's spirit. He was a good man, but what is better, he was a brave and an honest one, and I was proud to be his friend. It is quite a good thing to be like him.
Thank you, sir.
Now, do take care of my boy, will you, dear? I know he is lonely.
I'm right here. I can hear you.
Well, you are lonely, are you not?
That's besides the point.
Don't worry, Mr. Lawrence. The girls and I will bring him in. He'll be one of us in no time.
Good. I must be off to my study now.
Is it true, what your grandfather said?
About what?
Don't act dumb. It'd be good for you to socialize. Maybe if you had some more time for fun, you would take our time together more seriously.
Then it's settled. I just have to find the right time.
Oh, Hannah, in my haste to the market, I forgot to ask if you needed anything for dinner.
Well, that's okay. I already got the bird roasting and the vegetables ready for salad making. Oh, a letter came for you while you were out from Mr. March, by the looks of it.
That's wonderful. I'm sure the girls will be so excited to hear it when they get home.
How exciting. I love when letters come. I do miss Father so very much.
I do too, sweet Beth. Thank you for all your hard work today.
It was awful. Everyone else limes every single day. But of course, when I finally limes myself, Mr. Davis made me throw them all out the window. Perfectly good lines. Oh, and you gave me a quarter to buy them too, Meg. Your precious quarter.
I don't begrudge it to you.
But you should be more careful about how you spend your precious coin and how you lord it over the class.
Now, Joe, it was my quarter, so leave Amy alone.
That's not even the worst of it. All the girls in my class befriended me just because I held the lines. And the moment they're gone, I'll never have real friends. My status in such poverty makes me undesirable, I'm afraid.
Oh, Amy, we are your very best friends.
And we don't mind if you're living in a castle and married to a duke with 7 maids to tend you in every single room, or if you're begging on the streets and living in a shoebox. We love you just the same.
I know better than that, Joe. You don't love me and never will.
What a dreadful thing to say to your sister.
Well, it's true. She only lives herself and her precious scribbles. She's dreadfully selfish and constantly ignores me.
Your sister loves you, Amy. You're both just vastly different and value different things.
Speaking of my scribbles, I'm going to write down my scene for Rodrigo before I forget.
Wait, Joe, before you go, I have a great surprise. Then you can set right to it.
I can't find my manuscript anyway. I'll write it later.
Here it is.
Oh, wonderful. Father's such a dear.
as terrible as all that, Amy.
Well, I am, Beth, just you see.
We will all do better. I think too much of my looks and hate to work, but won't anymore if I can help it.
And I'll try to be what he loves to call me, a little woman, and not be rough and wild. But the writing will never give up. Beth, have you seen my manuscript? Did you move it when you were tidying up?
No, I never saw your book today.
Amy, you've got it.
I haven't seen it, I don't know where it is, and I don't care now.
Now? Did you used to know, Amy?
Amy, please tell Joe if you know something. It's not good to lie.
Fine, I did have it, Joe.
Amy, what have you done with my book?
I burned it! I told you to make you pay for not letting me go to the ball, and I have!
You wicked, wicked girl! I will never forgive you, and I'll never write again!
Joe, you can't mean that.
Amy, it was not right for you to burn the only copy Joe had of your manuscript. How would you feel if she burned one of your drawings or paintings? But dear girl, even though Amy was in the wrong, you cannot go to bed on your anger. You must try to forgive, help each other, love each other, and begin again tomorrow.
It was an abominable thing Amy did, and she does not deserve to be forgiven.
Oh, Hannah, do I need to worry about them?
They'll be who they are no matter what you do, so all you can do is be there when they come to their senses and want to know the right way.
Hateful! I'll find Laurie. He's always kind and funny and will put me to rights.
Joe? Was that you, Joe? Joe? She's gone ice skating. She promised she'd take me. Well, it's almost the end of the season. This is my last chance. Wait for me, Joe.
How can I do it, Marmy?
What has happened?
Quick, Beth, help me fetch some blankets.
Oh, the poor dear. No.
Oh, Marmy, make her all right, make her all right.
She's gonna be just fine, dear.
No, please, are you sure she's safe?
Quite safe, dear. You were so safe from covering her and getting her home quickly.
Laurie did it all. I just kept watching and looking and thinking how she might have been taken away under the treacherous ice. And Marmy, if she should have died, it would have been my fault. It's my incurable temper. I think that I've conquered it and that it breaks out worse than ever. Marmy, what shall I do?
Watch and pray, dear. Watch and pray. Never get tired of trying, and never think it is impossible to conquer your faults. You must be slow to anger, slow to speak, and quick to listen.
But you can't guess how bad it is. I feel as though I can do anything when I'm in a passion. I could hurt anyone and enjoy it. I'm afraid I shall do something awful one day and ruin my whole life and make everyone hate me. You have to help me, Marmy.
You think I can't understand how you feel?
Of course not. You're never angry.
I'm angry nearly every day of my life, Joe. But I've learned not to show it. And I still hope to learn not to feel it, though it may take me years to do so. I've prayed long and hard, just as I've taught you to do, in order to cure it. And through God, I've succeeded in controlling it.
If I'm ever half as good as you, I will be satisfied.
I hope you'll be a great deal better, dear. But you must learn to love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. This is key to controlling those sharp words and angry pleasures.
But you never complain or say so. Poor Marmy.
Why should I complain? If I don't seem to need help, it's because I have a better friend, our Heavenly Father, to comfort and sustain me. My child, the troubles and temptations of your life are beginning and may be many, but you can learn to overcome and outlive them all if you learn to feel the strength and tenderness of your Heavenly Father as you do that of your earthly one. The more you love and trust him, the nearer you will feel to him, and the less you will depend on human power and wisdom. His love and care never tire and change, can never be taken away from you, but may become the source of lifelong peace, happiness, and strength. Believe this heartily, and go to God with all your little cares, hopes, and sorrows, as freely and confidingly as you come to your mother.
I'll get the door for you, Aunt March. No, you don't, May Chester. I worked the day away to prepare a nice luncheon for all you girls from school, and none of you had the politeness to come. Why did you come beg from my aunt?
I went by your house first, and your mother said I could find you here. You haven't any obligation to forgive me, but I apologize nonetheless. Ginny Snow threw a lavish afternoon party, and we all had to go to that instead. As it was well, never mind. I've come to bury the hatchet.
Have you? I'm not sure my purse and spoiled lobsters like to even hear your proposal.
You don't have to listen if you don't want, Amy. You can slam the door in good girls' faces if it pleases you.
Josephine! I will not have you influencing your proper sister under your ways in my home. Dear girl, the kind thing to do is to invite your friend in and hear what she has to share.
Please just listen. I think you'll like it. As you know, my mother is holding the annual Concord Festival, and we'd like to offer you a booth where you can sell your art.
I would love to.
If you are pitying us because we are poor and you are...
Josephine! I'm appalled at your behavior toward a guest in my home. Charity work is one of the greatest things a woman can give to this world. A chance to put others before ourselves. Estelle, take Josephine into the library where she may cool down and Amy can continue her conversation.
Come, Josephine, let's find a new book to inspire you.
I would love to be at your fair. I do not have any skills to help in the war effort, but I do have my time to give, and I shall give it gladly.
Splendid. I'll tell my mother.
Joe and I will leave you now, Aunt, so you can rest.
They told her that she could have a table at the fair to sell her art, and then they stuck her with a flower table.
Oh, don't worry. I'll go get my friends and we'll buy every flower she has.
Thank you.
loved it.
I suppose you'll just have to wait and see how the second book ends.
The Moffats are very fashionable. I thought you'd rather be daunted at first. Their house is so very elegant. And I know you've not had such nice things for a while. Well, anyway, I was worried about inviting you and you feeling so out of place. But oh, how they were so kind to you.
Did you have a good time at the Moffats? I know I wouldn't.
Uh-huh. Upper Society wouldn't want you either. Meg fits in. Meg, she's perfect.
Did you meet fine, dashing, rich men?
Sure.
Well, aren't you the picture of gossip? We waited all week for your tales, and now you come back and the cat's got your tongue on all of it.
I can tell you, Meg, flirted with the best of them. There were plenty of eligible prospects crafters at the ball. Marrying rich is the best thing Meg could ever do for herself. Then she won't have to work or worry about a single thing. Not like you, anyway.
I'm sorry, Joe. It's just, well, you'll hear all about it, I suppose. Let's just go home. I'm ready to be home.
Wife isn't the finest March girls.
Oh, the finest.
Just back from the Moffats, I suppose. Did you tell?
No, I haven't, and you promised you wouldn't either, and now you have!
Tell what? Did Ned Moffat try to woo you or some foolish nonsense?
No!
He wouldn't dare. He knows not to separate me and my sister.
Woe to any man who would try.
Any man handsome enough and rich enough to match my status is welcome to call on me.
I offer my deepest pity to whoever that man may be.
Please, let's just go home!
Wait! You forgot your glove! I'll get this back to her as soon as I can.
Yes, Meg looks beautiful. No, she wasn't wooed by a handsome stranger. Now let's get on with it because she wouldn't tell me until we were all here together.
Dear girl, what is it? Hannah, will you please put the girls to bed?
Marmee, I wish to confess.
I thought so.
Should I go too?
No, don't I always tell you everything? I was ashamed to speak of it in front of Amy and Beth, but I wanted to tell you all the dreadful things I did at the Moffats. They pampered me and did me up like their own personal doll, and I let them parade me around like their project, and I flirted, and I romped, and I acted a fool.
Is that all?
Is that not dreadful?
Well, there's something much more than all that, I think.
Oh, Mother, the ladies said such dreadful things. They said you've been conniving and scheming to get close to Mr. Lawrence so that one of us may make Laurie fall in love with us, and then we may be rich again. But how did you know it?
Well, I've raised you for 17 years. I know when each of you hold a secret or a worry.
I hope you walloped them, if not with your fists, with your words. Laurie will scream when I tell him.
Don't tell Laurie, please!
She won't. You mustn't. You mustn't ever repeat such foolish gossip, lest you become a gossip yourself.
Yes, Marmee.
Marmee?
Yes, dear?
I almost hate to ask it, but I must. Was there any truth to it? Do you have any plans?
Yes, I do.
Oh, no.
I have a great many, but mine differ somewhat from Mrs. Moffat's, I suspect. I want my girls to be beautiful in soul, accomplished, and good, to lead useful, pleasant lives with as little sorrow as God sees fit. My dear girls, I am ambitious for you, but not to go off and marry rich men who have nice houses which are not homes because they lack love. Money is a thing to have, and can be used nobly for others, but it is not the first or only prize to strive for. God always provides, even in the hardest of times, and I'd rather see you poor men's wives, if you were happy, beloved, and contented, than queens on thrones without love and peace.
What's wrong, old chap? You haven't bothered me once about my lessons today.
It's nothing. Only, what do you think of the March Girls?
You know what I think of them. They're my closest friends.
Theodore, I've written to my acquaintance Mr. Harvard at Yale and Professor Campbell at the university, and they'll be expecting your essays soon.
I'll get to them, but I'm afraid I'm lost without Brooke here, who seems to be lost in a haze.
Oh, Theodore, you're always coming up with excuses not to work on your schooling.
But this time it's not a fib.
I'm afraid he's right, Mr. Lawrence. I have been distracted. I'm sorry. We will begin immediately.
I've never known you to be the distracted type, Mr. Brooke. May I ask the reason?
You see, sir, it's because...
I think he's in love.
In love? How splendid. The eldest March sister, is it not?
How did you know?
Splendid.
Yes. The way you stumble about when she is around is quite unlike your usual graces. And yes, Theodore, love is quite a splendid thing. You would be lucky as Mr. Brooke here to earn the love of anyone half as good as any of those sisters.
You don't mind their poverty.
What they lack in coin, they will more than make up for in heavenly riches if they stay the course they've been brought up in.
Well, how am I supposed to grow my relationship with them if I'm supposed to be shipped off to some stuffy college?
Have you ever heard, absence makes the heart grow fonder?
Joe! Oh boy, do I have a secret for you.
Oh, I do hope it's good. I've about had it with secrets.
Has Meg been missing a glove, by any chance? A
Yes.
white one?
What do you know about it?
I saw it in Brooke's pocket. Isn't it romantic?
No! I wish you hadn't told me. Everything will change.
Change?
Yes, the idea that anyone wants to take Meg away. That's dreadful.
You'll change your tune someday when a guy comes to take you away.
I'd like to see anyone try. And to think I had quite a nice one to tell you.
A nice what?
Secret.
Well then, go on, tell me.
I don't like secrets anymore. This one got me all rumpled in my mind.
Come on, I told you mine.
Fine. Except you can't tell, not until I have a letter of acceptance and a payment in my hands. I submitted 2 stories to the local paper.
Joe, that's wonderful. You're going to be a published author.
Oh, forgive me.
It's quite all right.
Ooh, Meg, you must introduce me to your friend.
This is John Brooke. He's Laurie's tutor. She's a social climber. She doesn't associate much with the poor. The only reason she's still my friend is I wasn't always poor.
You think of me as poor?
I just meant...
I understand. I make a living. Mr. Lawrence certainly compensates me more than a teacher could want, but am I too poor?
Too poor for what?
Oh, nothing. It's a silly notion.
I can't imagine any of your notions are silly. You're so good and smart.
You really think so?
I'm glad Mr. Lawrence is so fair to you, but is it true that Lori will go off to college in the fall?
I'm afraid so.
Then what will you do with no one to teach? Will you go work at a school? Find another rich son to tutor?
None of those things, I suppose. After he leaves, I'll no longer be tied down. So the way I see it, I'll join the boys and fight alongside them. I'll join the Union Army.
Oh, but you can't!
Can't I? Why shouldn't I do my part like everyone else?
We would all miss you so dearly back home. You've become like family, and such a dear friend.
Oh, I see. Well, I should be heading out. Laura will be ready for his arithmetic before long.
I'll see you soon, Mr. Brooke.
Oh, dearie, there you are. I have dinner all ready for you, and I thought we'd have to eat without you. Never want my food to go cold.
I'm sorry, Hannah. I was walking back with Sally and lost track of time.
I'm glad you were with Sally and no one else.
What are you talking about?
Me? Nothing at all.
I think there's someone at the door.
Who could it be?
It's not Lori. He just come in.
Instead of clicking about it, someone go let the poor person in. Don't worry, Hannah will do it.
We don't usually have people come this hour.
This is odd.
What if we have to entertain them?
Oh no.
I don't think so.
It's one of those dreadful telegram things.
It'll be alright. Telegrams aren't always bad news.
No, but I'm sure it's not sending us news that our chaplain father won any battle medals.
No. Joe, help me out.
Marmee, tell us what's wrong.
Your father is very sick. I must raise money for a train ticket in order to go to him. I must go to him, and I must pray it's not too late.
What can we do?
Okay, I need some of you to go next door to the Lawrences and ask if they have any spare linens and medicines we can use. And then Joe, can you go to Aunt March and ask if we can borrow $25 from her?
Dear Lord, please help this family.
Nephew deceased? Thank goodness, God. No, Aunt March. Thank God. But he's very sick. And I was wondering if I could borrow $25 to get the train ticket to New York.
Well, what other choice do we have?
Are you sure
I hate to beg. Yet here you are, begging. Joe, where have you been?
Well, first, here's my contribution to bringing Father home.
$25? But Joe, where did you get it? I hope you haven't done anything rash.
I haven't. I didn't beg or borrow or steal it. I only sold what was mine.
Joe, you're one beauty! How could you?
I was wild thinking of Father, and you always tell us to make our sacrifices and to do it gladly. And mine won't affect the state of the nation, but it might bring Father home. And so I thought of the wig store. And, well, I saved the lock for you, so you can lay it away like you did when we were children. Aren't you pleased, Marmee?
You are a wonderful girl, and you will be rewarded for your selfless act. And Aunt March, I suppose this means you can have your loan back. I should say so. But you should have thought of your future, dear girl. You'll be hard-pressed to find a decent husband now. Joe, your hair will grow back, but you will never be more beautiful than you are right now.
Ma'am, if I may, I have business in Washington and I would like to...
I'll be accompanying you to Washington.
Quite right. Mr. Brooke will take care of my errands and will be available to you for anything that you need.
Oh, Mr. Brooke.
And you will take my carriage to the train station at once.
If we leave right now, we can just catch the last train.
All right, well then that settles it. Girls, I'm off. Don't forget to check in on the Hummels. Do be good. I love you so very much.
Do be careful, Marmee.
Mind the cannons and gunshots.
Not in front of the children, Joe.
It's the reality.
I'll be safe. I bring the Lord with me.
Is that a letter from Marmee? Oh, I know exactly who that letter's from.
What was that, Joe?
Nothing. Just, do you have any news about Father and that pile of love notes?
Love. Well, I never. Love? Love from who?
Christopher Columbus, you are hopeless.
Surely you can't mean Mr. Brooke.
All I want is news about Father. Do you have it or not?
Here.
Thank you. I've arrived in New York. Father is doing better today than he has ever. Oh, he ate something. News from the war. Mr. I'll skip that part.
What was that?
Nothing.
Oh, Joe, don't be like that.
Father is doing better. That's all that matters.
Bob, Washington. Mr. Brooke has been quite the gentleman, helping me tend to the wounded soldiers and running out for medicine when I need it. Oh, the dear.
I thought we could all go to the Hummels today. Remember, Mommy told us to check in on them every once in a while.
I'm too tired.
Can't you, Joe?
I forgot my book. I've got to read to Aunt March extra, so she'll take me to Europe.
I'm too young to go. Or at least that's what Joe says.
Well, I can go, but every time I've gone, I try and take care of the baby because it's so sick, but it just keeps getting sicker, and I don't know what to do for it. And you're such a great nurse, Meg. Can't you come?
But I have such confidence in you.
All right. I suppose I'll go. I'll just ask Kim if she has any medicine. I'm off now.
Meg, I'm taking plaster casts and painting them. Can I cast your hand? It's so very pretty and dainty, just like my perfect foot.
I suppose so. I have nothing better to do. careful how you speak of others, Joe.
Just because you're in charge while Marmee is gone doesn't mean you get to go traipsing around and scolding me.
Look, Joe, I'm casting my foot so I can remember just how perfect it is.
Be careful, you almost got poor Meg's hand stuck in a few days ago.
Oh, I'm better at it now. I've had more water. Don't worry.
It seems like it's ready to come out now.
You're right. I think I can take it out now. Help me take off the bucket, would you?
Okay. Oh dear.
Joe, help. My foot's stuck.
We need a chisel.
Will we have to, amphibian? Oh, Joe, say it isn't so. I can't lose my foot. It's too beautiful.
No, and you mean amputate. I think I can get it out. You'll keep your precious foot. Hold on. Got it.
Oh, thank you, Joe. I'll love you forever. I swear.
Hannah, do you think you could draw me a warm bath?
Yes, of course, dearie, but you look as if you've seen a ghost.
It's nothing. Never mind.
Don't be so strong and quiet, Bessie. What's wrong?
The baby is dead.
Baby? What baby?
Mrs. Hummel's baby. She died in my arms.
Oh, I should have gone with you. I'm so sorry.
No, stay away.
What? Why?
Have you had the scarlet fever?
We both have, years ago.
All right, then I'll tell you. I just sat there and held the poor baby softly until Mrs. Hummel came with the doctor, and he said it was dead, and he looked at her other children because they had sore throats, and she tried to explain to him that she was poor and she couldn't cure the baby because she said he should have come sooner, but she couldn't, and so I just stayed there and cried with them until the doctor turned around suddenly, and he told me to go home straight away and take belladonna, or else I would have the fever, and I guess I shouldn't have it too badly. I looked in Mother's book and I saw that it starts with odd feelings like mine, with like headaches and fevers and such. And so I took belladonna and I feel much better.
Oh, Beth, he's brought you up.
For me?
All for you. Isn't it splendid?
It's wonderful. I can't.
It should have been yours long ago. I had a little girl once with eyes like yours. She loved this piano as much as I loved her. I thought silence was her best memorial, but I'm afraid I was sorely mistaken. To hear it played again so lovingly is my great delight, and...
Thank you.
Would you play us something, dear?
Yes. Let's hear the sound of that baby piano.
And one more present for the March family.
Father! You are truly well again?
Full as ever I shall be, and so very proud of my little woman.
Beth, they were best friends and Joe loved her dearly.
The ending was my favorite. Marmee made it home just as Beth's fever broke, and Mr. March came home from the war. And everyone was together and had a happy, happy Christmas.
And don't forget Meg's engagement. How utterly dreamy.
I think marriage is a silly thing. Who would ever want to forget everything they know?
Oh, so I'm just like Joe.
Good.
Oh, please, we must know how the second book starts.
Can you read it to us?
All right, I'll begin. The 4 years that have passed have brought changes to the Quiet family. Mr. and Mrs. March are brisk and cheery, though rather grayer than they were when we last saw them. Meg has spent the last time in working as well as waiting, growing womanly in character, wise in housewifely arts, and prettier than ever, for love is a great beautifier. Joe's writings were accepted by the Spread Eagle, and as long as they paid her $1 a column, Jo felt herself a woman of means, and wrote her little adventures diligently. Beth had seemed to heal splendidly, and she was now happy and talented, gracing the halls of the Lawrence home with beautiful symphonies. Laurie, having dutifully gone to college to please his grandfather, made merry time and thought often of his sister friends back home. He would bring home friends from college, and Amy especially enjoyed this high honor, and became quite a belle among them. But the biggest change was yet to come, a change they'd all been preparing for, with a mix of happiness and grim flickers, for there was to be a wedding.
Oh,
Meg,
you're
so beautiful. I love your
wonderful.
so.
Oh, Meg, I'm just so very grateful we get to be here for this day.
You're the prettiest, most brilliant bride.
Oh, Meg, that dress in fashion is darling. But oh, how you could have had the finest French laces and silk as I did. And you could have got married in a mansion if you'd only let me set you up. Did you truly have to settle?
I don't want a wedding. Only those around me who I love, and that is as grand a wedding as I could wish for.
Girls, Hannah and I need your help with the cake. Oh, Meg, what a vision you are. Come on, girls, we must hurry.
Meg,
If you don't have anything nice to say, please keep it to yourself.
Meg, if you don't want to do this, tell me right now, and I'll go out there and I'll tell everyone it was a lark the whole time and declare the wedding a farce.
Joe.
But you don't love him. Your symptoms don't match what I've read in the romances. You're not twittery and cross, and you eat just fine, and you don't lie awake all night pining. Although you do turn red every time Father and Marmee call him John.
Joe. But I do love him. He looks at me with such a loving admiration I've never seen before, and it makes my insides melt. He'll be good to me, and you don't have to fear.
But he's not right for you, Meg. You were supposed to be the rich one of all of us. What about Laurie? He loves us all, and he's already part of the family. It's a pity my plans were spoiled.
Laurie. For me. That boy is certainly for one of us, but not for me. My John gives me more in his loving hand than a king could ever offer.
But, Meg, it was supposed to be you and me forever. Why did you have to ruin it and leave me behind?
It comes to this for everyone, Joe. It will come even for you. The clock never stops turning, no matter how hard we will it to. So walk me out there knowing I am safe and cherished and whole. Be content knowing God brought John to me. bet none of this has been taken out in 20 years or more. Doesn't it deserve to see the light once in a while?
You're right, of course. What would Mademoiselle choose if she had her will?
I like the diamonds the best. They are so becoming. But there's no necklace among them, and I'm very fond of necklaces. I should choose this if I might.
I too like that, but not just as a necklace. This cross would be a reminder to me. A reminder to pray without ceasing.
You seem to take a great deal of comfort in your prayers, Estelle. You always come down looking quiet and satisfied. I wish that I could be that confident in mine.
It can be hard sometimes. When it seems not everything is happy, why would God ever want sorrow for us?
You see, prayer is a genuine thing. It's not for wants or wishes. It's for support and comfort. It's to talk to God like you and me, or your mommy, or even your sisters. It's intentional. A habit and task every day. A conscious decision every day.
If you do this, if you put your heart into it, I'm sure you would find the same comfort we do.
Even when I see Beth's smile fading, or I argue with Joe.
Even then, prayer is like a power. You can harness it and use it for selfish reasons, but I think it is best suited when used to help each other up.
I think I understand. Do you think that I could create something to remind me?
I have an even better idea. Let this remind you, I know your aunt was planning on passing this down to you. I say why not now? Let this remind you every time you look down at your hand to seek comfort from God in your prayers.
Amy, dear girl, your sister's here for you. Oh yes, I do believe this is a lovely time for you to wear such a beautiful thing. You're nearly a woman now.
Thank you, Aunt March.
Would you like your tea now?
I suppose now would be a lovely time. So, how was your charity ball this past weekend, Amy?
Oh, it was lovely. We raised about $400 for the Veteran Relief Fund. But I know your views on the war, so I won't bore you with more.
Did you go to the ball, Josephine?
I never do. They only ask us to use us for labor. I don't know why you always go, Amy.
I try to help where I can if it's all I'm truly good for. And if it's the only way that I get invited to such beautiful parties, then I will bear it gladly.
Quite right and proper. I love your grateful spirit, my dear. It's a pleasure to help people who appreciate our efforts. Some do not, and that is trying.
I don't believe in favors. It's foolish to rely on the goodwill of others as they disappoint almost every time. I'd rather take care of myself and be completely independent.
Please, dear, do sit. The tea has just arrived, and when you get worked up, my heart flutters so. Amy, you can start French. I was just about to begin a lesson.
I'm learning fairly quickly. Aunt lets me speak with Estelle whenever I like, so it really helps me get the true hang of it.
You know I can't bear French. It's such a silly, slippery sort of language. And I'm a stupid learner and don't know a single word of anything except my own.
Well, I never!
Amy, I was on my way home from the market and figured we could walk home together. Joe, you're here too, darling.
And I am ready to go home.
Hello, Marmee.
Aren't we a bit too modest to be wearing such adornment?
You see, Aunt gave me this ring today, and I do not want it for any vain reason, but I want to wear it to remind me of something.
Of Aunt March?
No, Estelle told me a prayer. It's to remind me to pray.
Well, how can I argue with that? As prayer is the most noblest of ventures.
I've ruined everything.
What happened?
My stories were doing so well, and I decided to submit my novel to a publisher knowing it wasn't ready.
Why'd you send it in too soon?
We need the money. I've been saving because we have so many bills from when Beth was sick and you were gone. And I want to take Beth and Marmee to the sea to get Beth better. And, well, my Spread Eagle stories are fine. But they said they would give me $200 upon receiving it. But, just look.
Miss Josephine March, we will accept. Oh, I see.
Yes. I shall call a family meeting. Where's Bethy?
She had a headache and wanted to lie down after she helped Hannah with the dishes.
Poor dear. Well, Father, would you read what you've got in your hands?
Very well.
Josephine March, we will accept your novel, The Duke's Daughter, for publishing on the condition that you will cut it down 1/3 so as to be a manageable size. Bring down the language and vocabulary level or two, as this kind of tale will be best suited for ages 12 to 18, and omit the portions of moral preaching.
So now you see my dilemma. What shall I do?
Don't ruin your book, my girl. For there's more in it than you know, and the idea is well worked out. Let it wait, for a publisher will not make you do such things.
I completely agree. The morality is the best part of the story. If you remove that, the adventure will just be spectacle.
It seems to me that Joe will profit more by taking the child than by waiting. Does not every businessman have the right to make concessions for the end goal? And would it be so bad to hear the criticism it might reap?
Criticism is the best test of such work, as it shows you unsuspected harms and reaps. And it helps you to do better next time. We are too partial, but the praise and blame of others can prove useful.
That's true. I've been fretting over the thing so long that I really don't know if it's good or bad or plain. The criticism of impartial and cool people will likely be helpful.
I wouldn't take a word out of it. You'll spoil it if you do. The interest of the story is more in the minds than in the actions of the people, and it will all be a muddle if you don't explain as you go along. It's truly one of the greatest books I've ever read.
I know it's not that.
How can you say that?
Well, I believe myself to have talent, but I'm no Shakespeare.
Do as the publisher tells you. He knows what'll sell, and we don't. Make a good, popular book and get as much money as you can. And once you have enough money to afford to digress, you can have metaphysical and philosophical people in your novels.
I should so like to see it printed soon. It would be a great honor to hold a novel written by my sister in my own hands.
Joe? Oh, my Joe. Are you all right?
Oh, Lori, why does everything have to be so difficult? All I want is for my family to be close and my home to be warm and my words to be loved and Beth to be all right.
Beth is doing better than she ever has. I know you're worried, but you needn't be.
Sometimes I think so, and then, oh, Lori, I'm so worried for her.
God has always blessed the March family. He wouldn't stop now.
Why, Mr. Theodore Lawrence, I've never heard you talk of God.
You see what I mean? You have such an effect on me.
Oh, Lori, no.
Yes.
No.
Yes, Joe, we've got to have it out. The sooner the better for the both of us.
Please, not now.
I've loved you ever since I've known you, Joe. I couldn't help it. You've been so good to me, and I've tried to show, but you wouldn't let me. Now I've got to make you hear and give me an answer. I can't go on like this any longer.
I thought I could save you this. I thought you'd understand, Lori.
But I've loved you all the more. And I've worked so hard to please you. I gave up billiards. I gave up everything you didn't like because I figured you'd love me, Joe. I know I'm not half good enough.
You are good enough. You've always been good enough. I can't love you in the way that you want me to. I don't know why. I've tried, but I won't say I do when I don't.
Really? Truly, Joe?
Oh, Teddy, I'm so sorry. I don't know why. You know it's impossible for people to make people love each other when they don't.
But it's you. It's always been.
Oh, Teddy, we'd be so miserable. Our hot tempers and our strong wills, they'd make us miserable if we were foolish enough to...
To marry? If you loved me, Joe, and you said that you will, I should be a perfect saint to you.
I can't say it truly, so I won't say it at all, Lori.
But why does everybody expect it? Your family, my grandfather, everybody's got their heart set on it. Just say yes and we can be happy together.
Why did you have to do this? We were fine, Lori, just you and me. Just Lori and Joe. You were my brother. Why'd you have to ask such a grown-up thing and make us into little adults? You'll love someone one day, Lori. She'll be perfect, and she'll be everything you deserve, but I never will. I don't believe I'll ever marry. One day you'll see that I'm right, and you'll thank me for it.
You will love one day, Joe. And I'll watch.
I've decided to go to my home in the Paris countryside. I want to take a tour of Europe one last time before the angel comes for me.
And you want me to go with you? Oh, on March 1st day.
I'm going with Amy, and that's that.
What? You promised me for years.
I'm sorry, Josephine, but you did nothing to inspire me. Amy knows how to fit in proper society perfectly, and that is all that we shall have when we land in the shores of Europe.
Joe, I'm so sorry. Amy and Aunt March have gotten on so well, and I was afraid you'd be upset if you couldn't be exactly who you are.
Oh, it'll be all right, Joe. One day you'll be famous and your books will sell out and you'll be rich and you can travel Europe whenever you like on your own terms. You'll be responsible for no one. I promise you. You won't have to pretend.
But I would have pretended. Seeing so many new places would be greatly important for my writing. How am I supposed to write of glorious things when all I've ever seen is conquered? Beth, wait.
Well, Amy, we must be off now. The ship leaves at 6 and we must take the train.
I love you, Amy. I love you.
My sweet girl.
Bye, Hannah.
I love you, Amy.
I love you so much, Marmee.
Goodbye, my love.
I love you. I'm so sorry, Joe. It should be you.
I don't begrudge this to you. Go and have fun and let your art take flight.
Thank you.
Marmee, I want to move to New York, for a little while at least.
New York? But how will you get there? What will you do?
I've already planned. I'll stay with Father's friend, Mr. Kirk. He needs a governess for his children, and I'll see new things, and I'll get new ideas, and I'll bring home quantities of material for my writing.
I have no doubt of it. But is this your only reason for this sudden plan?
No, Marmee.
May I inquire about the others?
Oh, it's Lori. He's become too fond of me, and I love him so dearly, but as for anything more, it's out of the question.
incredibly unfortunate how the critics tore it apart.
That's putting it quite lightly.
Well-
Alice has found this place among the elderly book clubs of Manhattan. I could sell 15 copies to them.
Miss March does send her apologies and wonders if you would like to read more of her stories.
Not they're like her novel.
I'm sure not, sir. They're very remarkable.
As long as you don't object to some alterations.
Thank you. Oh, but I took great care to have some of my sinners repent.
We're coming out of a war. People don't want to be preached at, they want to be amused.
Yes, sir. Dear sweet Beth, I hope this letter finds you well and so very happy. I'm off to a great start in New York. I've already got one of my stories published, and they liked it, so they're asking for more. I've got so many friends who stay at the boarding house.
I've gone to the theater a handful of times, and I get to go to the symposium at the university next week, where we hear lots of philosophical debates. I've written to Laurie a few times, and I have not received anything back. Have you heard if my letters have gotten to him? Oh, my Joe. I got a letter from Amy, and it seems as if she's enjoying her trip so well. I know I threw quite the tantrum when they first mentioned it, but I'm glad it's her. I pray for you every day and hope the best for you. Give Marmee and Father my warmest regards. Your Joe.
Amy?
Laurie, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that Joe fled to New York after she turned you down.
What's done is done. She made her choice, and I'm here to have fun now. Say, I was invited to a party tonight. Would you care to be my guest?
I would be honored.
A telegram. Oh, I've waited for so long. I wonder if they saw my last story. What has it been? 12? 15? Oh, let's see. Oh, no. No, Beth.
Laurie, you invited me here, and you've left me alone all night. I wish you'd do me the favor to snap out of whatever has a hold of you.
Maybe you can snap me out of it.
I could try, but you'd be angry in 5 minutes.
I could never be angry with you. It takes 2 flints to make a fire, and you're as cool and soft as snow.
2 flints? Like you and Joe? You'd prefer the fire of passion, wouldn't you?
Like the passion you have with Fred Vaughn, the richest of men. You planned that well, didn't you?
Do you want to know what I honestly think of you?
Pining to be told.
I despise you. With every chance of being good, useful, and happy, you are faulty, lazy, and miserable. I have studied you while you were out frolicking, and I'm not at all satisfied with you here. You have been abroad nearly 6 months and done nothing but waste time and money and disappoint your friends.
Continue, this is quite interesting.
I thought you'd find it so. Selfish people always like to talk about themselves.
Am I selfish? Well, then what of you? Parading for men, settling for only the richest you can find, while there are perfectly wonderful chaps right in front of you, pining for you with real love to give, and then you trap the lucky one into thinking that he's got the angel of lot, only to find out that all you have is demands. Is that not selfish?
No, it's not at all. You men tell us we are angels and say you can make us what we will, but the instant we honestly try to do any good, you laugh at us and won't listen, which just proves how much your flattery is worth. And as for my selfishness in finding a wealthy match, us women can't get on without money. So do you truly mean to tell me that you'd make a poor match and start in that way for what you say is real love? I never had the luxury to dream of real love for myself. Meg married for it, Joe never will at all, and who knows what Beth will find. So it's me, I've known it, and that's what it shall be. I apologize, Lori. I know I shouldn't talk to you in this way, and if you're the sweetest tempered fellow in the world, you'd be very, very angry with me. We are all so fond and proud of you, and I just hate to think that they'd be disappointed in you at home. I just want you to be who I know you are.
I did need to hear it.
She's right here. Be quiet and careful. She's quite weak.
I think the loneliness has gotten to her, though she hasn't said a word.
Joe, I'm right here, Beth. I'll always be right here for you. What have the doctors said?
They're not sure. They've said we could have years with her, or months.
Has anyone sent for Amy?
Beth didn't want her to cut her trip short.
Of course. Amy always has a way of charming her way out of the hard parts of life.
Joe, please don't be angry with your sister. This was Beth's choice, not Amy's. And if it goes the way I fear, it will be Amy left with the sorrow of 6 months ago being her last.
You're right, of course. But it won't go that way. I'm here to make sure of it. I'm taking Beth to the sea to get her better.
I haven't seen you paint in a while. Don't tell me Aunt March has forbade it.
Aunt is too sick to even notice if I do or not. She has called me Josephine more times than I can count. And being in Rome, it took all the vanity out of me. For after seeing the wonders there, I feel too insignificant to live and gave up all my foolish artistic hopes in despair.
Why would you give up your art when you have so much energy and talent left in you?
That's just why, because talent isn't genius, and no amount of energy will make it so. I want to be great or nothing.
What will you do with yourself now?
Polish up my other talents and become an ornament to society if I get the chance.
Oh, that's where Fred Vaughn comes in.
If he wants me,
He would be a fool not to.
I'm afraid it won't matter. It has to matter. This is not the end.
I'll have to go soon. No, you can't. Marmy, what will we do? We have to help her.
I'm afraid Sweet Beth is right. We can only look to God in these coming days and know that we'll see her again in heaven one day.
Castles in the clouds.
scaring me.
I've received a letter.
Oh, I suddenly feel ill.
Here.
No! No! No, not that, Lori! No! No!
I've got you for as long as you need, or forever if you like it.
I do.
I couldn't come to the funeral. I couldn't bear it. She was magnificent. I had already been to one too many funerals for dear girls who did not deserve their fate. I could not bear another.
It's okay. Beth wouldn't mind, so neither shall I.
Besides, you were always in our heart, and that's what matters.
There they are, the happy pair.
I've missed you so much.
Oh, Joe, I've missed you too. Why did no one send for me to tell me how she was?
She didn't want to spoil your fun.
I just feel so much of it. So much grief. I should have been here. I haven't heard her laugh for almost a year, and I fear I'll forget her freckles, the smile in her face. Oh, just much quicker than all of you. I never got to say goodbye.
Amy, there's no goodbye. You'll see her again one day.
Oh, Marmee.
There's one thing she'd be ever so happy to have seen.
Send her over the moon to know that her Lori was her brother proper.
Is betrothal not such fun?
Actually, Christopher Columbus, you've done it, haven't you?
May I present to you Mrs. Amy Lawrence.
Oh, Joe, you're not cross, are you?
Of course I'm not cross. Only that I couldn't be there for your day. I'm so very happy for you.
How did it happen? Well, we were traveling around Europe, and Aunt March kept changing her plans, so we said, let's be married, and we can do as we like. And we were so happy. Now come, Marmee and I must help you get your home settled, as you all did for me when it was my turn.
Joe, I would like to say one more thing and then we can put it behind us forever. I think it was meant to be so, and it would have come about naturally. But I could never be so patient. I was a boy then, headstrong and violent, and it took a hard lesson to show me my mistake. When I saw her in Paris, everything seemed to clear up at once.
This is all I've ever wanted for both of you. You'll get along fine, and Amy will rule over you all the days of her life. You know she will. It's her way.
Well, if she does so imperceptibly. In fact, I rather like it.
I'm glad you enjoy it. This is all I've ever wanted, for us to be here together.
We won't, will we? You'll go back to New York.
I don't think so. Everyone is grieving so, and Beth left such a hole, I fear I shall need to fill it.
Well, I'm sure we can manage if you decide you miss your writing too much.
Thank you, Lori.
Joe?
Oh, Marmee.
What is it, Joe? Is it Lori and your sister?
No, of course not. They're perfect, and I'm so glad it worked out so. If it hadn't, and he'd asked me again, I fear I would have said yes, but for all the wrong reasons. When he asked before, I wasn't ready to grow up. I loved our home and everyone in it. Childhood was a dream, but I think I am ready now. And his ask would now be the right time. But I don't need it.
Then what do you need?
Oh, that's the trouble, Marmee. I don't know.
I do.
What is it then?
You need to write.
Oh, but I can't.
You must. Ever since you were a little girl, this has been your gift, your passion. You wrote scripts and plays and books, and you cared. You still do. But you can go forward now, knowing that we are all taken care of. You don't have to write for the money. You don't have to sacrifice your morals. You can write whatever you wish to write, regardless of what a publisher may say.
But I just don't see God in it anymore, Marmee.
But God is the one who gave you that gift. He wouldn't have if he didn't want you to use it.
Marmee, I miss Beth, and I'll miss her more if I leave.
I know. I miss her too. But sometimes you have to miss in life. If you don't miss the thing, it means you never truly had it.
Okay. I'll write to Mrs. Kirk and see if she can take me back.
don't know what to say.
Well, I loved it.
At least you got to ride again. I bet she sold books and books.
Wait, where did the woman go?
Look, over here. To the brave little women of tomorrow, may literature continue to inspire you, and may you be brave and kind and good. Signed, your friend,
Josephine March?